I'm Alma, the CEO and co-founder of Vibio, and we're building a connected sex toy platform for young adults to explore their sexuality. Growing up, my sex exploration journey looked pretty much like that. I would type random questions into Google, end up in Quora or Cosmopolitan, worst case scenario, Pornhub, and trying to find sex toys that I eventually also bought. I thought that I couldn't really relate. They weren't the type of product that I wanted to, just leave on my night table and be okay with it, or with people walking into my bedroom. So a couple of years ago, I teamed up with one of my best friends, actually, to build Vibio. And it's an app-connected sex toy brand. And through our app, people can control the products, but they can also browse different practices to improve their sex technique or discover new practices that they want to experiment with. And they can also nurture their fantasies through erotic stories. We took our first toy, Frida, a vulva wearable, last year to Kickstarter to crowdfund it. And we're currently finalizing the production of our first batch. And we did so with the input of a community of women that we built along our journey. The Vibe Gang. They're pretty much quite representative of the audience that we're after. Most of them aged 20 to 35, some of them in relationship, either casual or serious, and typically with no children. They were all experienced with sex toys, but what brought us together was that they were open-minded, sex-curious, and they were very passionate around fighting the stigma around sex through creating new products. Our business model is simple. We generate revenue by selling our toys. Obviously, we're starting with one, but we have plans to expand our range. And then at some point, once we grow our content of library, we'll add a freemium model to our app. We use toys as a gateway to our consumers. 60% of women in the UK and US already own a sex toy, and 65% of them purchased it in the same age range that we're targeting. And our hypothesis is that this is going to become more normal over time. Behind the scenes, well, Patricia and I managed to grow a little team to complement our skills. We have a designer that takes care of the UI and UX of our app and also our branding, an engineering lead, Jujar, and BJ, our full stack developer working on our app. And again, what brought us together is our passion for sex positivity and inclusivity in the industry. Our journey so far, we started in August 2018, and we did a couple of testing rounds and also trying to figure out how to build an IoT company because we weren't familiar with the space. We ended up in Kickstarter to, as I said, raise funds to take it to mass production. And that's where we're currently at. We're just finalizing the 1,500 units of our first run and signing our distribution agreements in Europe and US. And if you want to give us a follow, type "We are Vibio."
Great, thank you, Alma. And apologies for the wrong pronunciation, Vibio. Now I know. Thank you.
No worries, it happens to everyone.
Yeah, and now I would like the jury members to ask some questions to you, please.
Hi, Alma. Thank you for a great presentation. I must say, I really like that you have not only the hardware, but also the app, and you've thought about what kind of content to generate. I actually used to write erotic literature many years ago for adult content websites. So I think that will be a big value add as well, and another good revenue stream for you. Can you tell me a little bit more about your go-to-market strategy? Because it seems like you have very clearly defined your target customer group, but how are you going to reach them, and how much is it going to cost you?
Well, for the time being, we're pretty much bootstrapping. So that's why we're negotiating the distribution agreements with people that are already in our industry, so distributors, and then we could leverage the audiences of the retailers. And once they're in the app, and our assumption is that it will be easier to target D2C for our future products. Other strategies that we have in mind is, for example, liaising with complementary brands, such as period brands or contraceptive brands, or even other sex toy manufacturers that would like to create a toy together with us.
Thank you.
I saw with the app, I saw that you are in a monthly subscription model. That is one of your revenue streams. You're selling more or less content. There are already competitors offering this for no price or a lower price. So what would be the differentiation?
Yeah, so our plan is to offer, for example, the combination of products like synchronizing vibrations to the erotic stories or any playlist that we would offer through the app. So obviously, if you want to consume part of the content that will forever be for free, you're more than welcome to do that. And if you want to upgrade for the extra features, then we'll offer that premium tier.
Okay, so is it features, just from my understanding, is it features that enable the product to do something, or is it more about content that you actually sell on a monthly basis?
No, exactly. So for example, Frida, that's a wearable. You could just put it in your underwear, lay back, put on the erotic story, and let the vibration synchronize with the rhythm of the story. So the more heated, the higher vibrations, etc.
And staying on that differentiation theme, in terms of the actual product, and now you're in a field with lots of vibrator companies, many of whom are experiencing pretty significant growth. From a design of the product standpoint, how are you differentiating? So that's part one of the question. And maybe part of the answer is you said something early on about that I haven't heard many companies talk about that seemed like an interesting insight. And that was around improving technique, which is sort of this big hole because people, we've seen this through research time and time again. They don't know what they're supposed to do. They don't know what other people are doing. There's sort of no, nor should there be, a standard of behavior. But I thought that was an interesting place to differentiate, but I didn't see that continue out through your communication. So really it's twofold question on differentiation, both consumer insight as well as product.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, we're very early stage, but how we see it playing is you would come into our app and you would have different journeys that would combine the practices that you can get better at, as you're saying. And then we would have products to help you get better or explore those practices. So it can be a beginner that, for example, wants to try anal sex or pegging, then you may come across those practices in our app and we would have a product for you under our brand.